What's up, everybody? Welcome to We as Men. Uh, I'm your host, James Taylor Jr., and this podcast is sponsored by We as Men. I'm really excited about having with us today because what we're going to talk about primarily today is dealing with the structure of high value men. And what does that look like? What makes you a high value man? What makes you the type of man that somebody would consider to be high value, or someone that a lot of people would consider to be top notch, or one of the greatest, or even somebody that is considered the type of man that somebody wants to deal with? And what I love about today's show is that we're going to have a great dialogue. Reggie Carter will be on today. Shamar Terrell will be on today. And we are the Three Horsemen. We're going to constantly talk through this content about what it means to be a high value man. And in order to do those things, you have to have a great high level of character. What I want you to think about as a man, what makes you a high character person? What makes you someone that people can look at, build with, grow through, and see in that light? And so, what we're going to do is we're going to take the time to unpack what those things look like. Character deals exactly with what's your integrity like? Who are you? Are you the type of person that someone can trust? Are you the type of person that somebody can, when you're not there, you're going to do the right thing? When you are a high character man, that means that your lady knows that you're going to honor her even when you're not in her presence. Then, secondly, consistency. Are you consistent with being who you are and what you stand for, how you govern yourself, and what it looks like to make sure things get done? Consistency also looks like somebody who's constantly paying his bills, constantly growing his finances, constantly being a good steward of the money that he has. And guess what? That takes work. It does not happen overnight. Not everybody gets it done right away. It is definitely a process. So you got character, you got consistency, and you have commitment. Commitment to one woman, not a multiplicity of women, but one woman, loving one woman, caring for one woman, honoring one woman, being faithful to one woman makes you a high character or high value man. Now, let me give you the opposite. When someone says high value, sometimes they're talking about high income. High income means that you make a lot of money. And we label high value man as high income man. A high value man is that man has high moral values. When you say a high value man and you're talking about money, that's high income. Dumb type of people are really going to base everything on product and production. So if a woman is not built a certain way, doesn't have a certain look, doesn't have the right plastic surgery, doesn't have the right hairstyle, doesn't have the right weight, doesn't have the right breasts, what they're actually saying is, because I make a high income, I need a woman that matches the price tag that's already on my life personally. Can you imagine that? That all of a sudden a woman now becomes more of a Barbie doll than actually a queen, than actually a wife, than actually someone you love and value. They become a trophy. Here's what you got to understand to be clear about. There are two aspects to this. A high value man is looking at a woman for who she is, and what she stands for, right? That means he has a commitment to her. He has character. He looks at her based on principles. Doesn't mean he don't think she's fine or beautiful that he wants to be with her, but he sees her in high character. A guy like me is going to base that off Ephesians 5, right? Because I love the Lord, and it talks about love your wife as Christ loved the church, presenting her without spot or wrinkle, washing her with the water of the word. So I value my wife as a kingdom man based on kingdom principles and character, right? Now, I'm not saying this for everybody. I would like it to be because it's things that I believe in and I think strongly of it. But when you say high value, I'm talking high character. Now, the other side of that is the materialistic man who's high value. His bank account determines what type of woman he has. Now, ladies, you have to understand, if he's fat, out of shape, doesn't work out, doesn't take care of his body, it does not matter. Because what you basically said was you want to be with a man based on how much money he makes. You ever heard this phrase before? I want to blow your mind with this phrase. I've heard this all the time. It's the worst thing in the world. I got to get me a fine sugar daddy. There's no such thing as a fine sugar daddy. A man who's already attractive is not going to pay high money for a woman. A man who already finds women to be beautiful, finds women to be successful, he is not going to waste his time paying all type of money for those type of things. So you have to understand when you say high value, you are actually saying that you want to be with somebody based on the dollars that you make, means that that woman that you're in a relationship with now becomes someone that you are pricing out, that she's based on how much she costs. So I'm gonna have my boy Shamar come in and we're gonna talk more about this because I think this is something that's very important that people need to understand.
What's going on, my man?
Okay, okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are we good? Can
Okay,
you
I
hear
see.
me?
So yeah, I can hear you. So we're talking about high value right now. And so when we say high value, what we're actually talking about is how we see an individual. If someone is high value based on materialism, that means my income has to match the beauty. If I'm
Okay.
talking about high value in substance and moral value, that means that I am in love with someone for who they are and we grow together, our money's together, our relationships together. And I see you more than a price tag because you're already priceless. So over here, she's priceless. Over here, she has a price tag. Over
Mm-hmm.
here, she is based on character, commitment, and consistency. Over here, it's based on body type, financial income, and social status.
Yeah.
See the
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah. I got you.
Okay. So, as we talk through this part about high value, here is the first question that I have because you do coaching. I think this is something that I think needs to be said. When someone is considered high value materialistically, what are the benefits and what are uh, the non benefits of it? Because it might be a benefit to somebody else. It might not be the one to us, but it might be a benefit to somebody else. What would you say that is?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when if somebody's considered a high value person, materialistically, they will be sought after. Um, they will be searched for. But the other side of that is it only works during this time,
Mm-hmm.
right? It only works during this time because mat- I'll put it this way, right? Everybody's talking about Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin, 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 right? We're valuing it highly right now, but if 6 months from now, 8 months from now, and I just checked my stock actually right now, we're not valuing it the way we used to, so it's not worth it anymore. So the problem with valuing people materialistically is it doesn't have longevity, right? Like it's hot now, but then it's not hot later, and so I think that's the biggest problem with looking at someone and valuing them in that way. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work over time.
So let me ask you this question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I was to look at a woman, if I'm going by the material standard of a high value, I'm
Hmm.
going by the dollar amount that I make. If I make over six figures,
Yeah.
right? And the six figures mean that I get to pick a woman based on the fact of how much money I make. Not that I'm in shape, not that
Hmm.
I have a good attitude, not that I'm caring or loving, but I got bread. What do you say to that as a coach?
Um, I, I, I just think I don't think that I think it works in some settings, but it does not last over time, right? And so here's the problem, James. If you pick a lady now and your stock is hot, but your stock goes down later because it's all about your bread. Because I mean, the reality of dollars and cents is you can make six figures today, and your company can crash, or your business can fall, or you can lose your job. I mean, people are going through that right now in the pandemic. If that happens, then what happens to your value? You
Mm-hmm.
know, you were high value at one moment, but now you're low value, or your value has diminished. Does she go find somebody else that's high value? So what does that say about her if that's all she values? If that value can be gained and lost so quickly, or maybe gained slowly but lost so quickly, then what are you really building on, right? Because are we talking about relationships, or are we talking about just over the weekend? You
Yeah,
know?
and I think it's very superficial. I think one of the things is that if my income determines my value, then if I don't make a certain amount of money, then I'm not worthy of a certain type of female, or a certain type of lady. Because think about it, the average woman makes more money. An average African American woman, let's just use that for example.
Hmm.
They're the largest growing entrepreneurs in the country. They make more six-figure salaries than we do. So could you imagine a woman coming and saying to you, you know what, as a man, I need you to have abs. I need you to look like uh I don't know, some supermodel because
Michael B. Jordan is the hot one right now, right?
yeah, so you if
Michael
you're
B.
not Michael B. Jordan, you out bad because you're not
Yeah,
in shape, you don't have the great body, you don't have the big legs and all that other kind of stuff. And then it's all about performance. Now think about this. Is also considered sexual performance because
hmm,
now most men's like, I gotta find you physically attractive. You got to give me sex when I want to, and you also have to be willing to not meet my emotional needs, not my spiritual needs, right? Not my
yeah,
not my mental needs, just plain physical. So you have to be physical when we go out. You have to be physical for me when we're in the home, and you have to be physically representing me far as looking good when I'm not around. And that's sad, bro. You are now
yeah.
just a trophy, right? Am I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, the truth about life is, um, the body changes. You know, it goes out here, it goes in there, it sags here, it sags there. So the truth is, no one stays the same. Even, even if you have plastic surgery, things still change over time. Things that, we may not see, above the clothes. Things change over time. So, yeah, it's superficial. It doesn't last. And here's another thing I've been thinking about. When you talk about physical appearance, 30, I say maybe 40 years ago, slim and trim was in. That's where it was at. All the models were slim, and um, that was considered beautiful. Now, thicker is a little thicker is very acceptable. As a matter of fact, most men will tell you they like curves. Now, where those curves may be, I don't know, but everybody likes them in a different place, but they still like curves. So what is attractive over time? Um, it just doesn't have longevity.
Yeah, I don't see the benefit in looking at somebody's body and determining that they have any value.
Yeah.
I actually think it's stupid because what you're basically telling me is the only time you see me is if I look good. And nobody's on every day.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's on every day. Nobody has that type of capacity to be on every day. So the very fact that you out here trying to make sure everybody sees you is draining. Here's the thing that I find to be most offensive about this, because we said we're going to talk about these values from a different perspective. Kevin Samuels is the guy who brought this up,
Yeah.
and I hate the content.
I thought you were gonna say you love Kevin Samuels. No.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. I probably love him as a brother. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't probably value him as a leader, as somebody that I would take face value to help me grow and develop as a man. I think a lot of the things that he has said has put us in a position where a lot of men get get off on celebrating what he says, but we all know that they don't make the money to even live in that lifestyle. If the
Hmm.
average salary of a man is $50,000 or less, what is there for you to celebrate? You're not a high value man. You don't make
Not a.
enough money to even be in that category. So why are you even celebrating it? And to watch another black man degrade black women, call them out their name, call them Emmett Smith, say all type of derogatory things. It is the opposite of a Kevin, opposite Derek Jackson. Kevin Samuels is basically being a Derek Jackson's for men. So he's degrading women, tearing down women to make men feel better, even though most of the men, even though they may feel better, which is a false sense of security because you actually don't make the money to be that guy.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And so the three principles that I talked about: character, commitment, and consistency. And this is not. I don't want to make it about him. I want to make it about the fact is that we have men creating content that actually don't live up to that standard when it comes to how to treat a woman. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to make it about him either. I think you do. I think you do have to consider something. Um, when you're talking about Kevin Samuels, I've never met the man. I don't know the man. I've seen a couple of his YouTube feeds and couple of his Facebook video posts and a couple of interviews, but I don't know him from Adam. He has what he does is he's an image consultant, right? That's what he says. He says his job is to make sure his clients are smelling good, looking their very best, and being their very best. Um, what that says to me is external.
Right.
When you create a platform, you have to support your platform with ideas that continue to feed your base. So he's created a platform that talks about image. He has to just continue to feed that. Rush Limbaugh, same thing, right? I mean, that's in politics, but I've created a following. I have to continue to feed them red meat. This is what I do, and that's all he's doing. So he's found
But
his audience.
but here's the crazy thing about the red meat. If I feed you something and you get excited about it, but you actually don't live nothing, am I not leading you astray? Am I not putting you in a situation where you're going to fail? If everything that I talk about is about you balling or about
Mhm.
you getting what you want from a certain type of female, I'm actually causing you to fail because the reality is you don't make that type of money. And if you did, would that make you a good man? No. Any man that will put a price tag on a woman doesn't really value that. If your body has to be,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah. I
this
was gonna say I
about you.
can't disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm saying
Okay.
about that in general with any man. I think the other thing that is very offensive is that there is no consistency of us being qualified, compatible, and loving. In other words, qualified, like, yo, I'm a good man. This is somebody I want to be with. Compatible means that we opposites attract. So there are things that help us to grow. You know, my yin to my yang. You know, don't
Yeah.
get too deep, y'all. You know, say yin yang before we get off church on you. But those are the things that needs to happen. If I'm going to sit here and listen to another black man tear down women, I mean, literally put them because he's not the only one doing it. He's created a wave of this thing where there
Yeah.
is fresh and fit. And I'm going to say this, and I say this with no malice. I'm not saying these brothers are ugly, but they are different. And they're not the type of dude that would be able to pull a certain type of female in the real world. And so the social media has created this construct where they can go out and create content, bring beautiful women on to dog them to make themselves feel better.
You know
So
what?
essentially, and I'm not saying that to say that they're the worst people in the world. I'm saying that to say that it's a shame that a grown man would get on social media and tear down women to validate his own personal insecurities. And you have to look at, I mean, if you look at the guys who run these platforms that tear down women, I mean, there's no way to understand it. In the real world, you would not even get a hello if we're just basing it on looks. So, and you know the wounds of that. You know what it like to be torn down, to be insulted, to be criticized.
Mhm.
Have a girl say, "You ain't even cute. I wouldn't even talk to you. You're not fine. What is you talking about?" But then you'll turn around and dog the next young lady on that platform. Why don't you just say, "Nobody loved me, so I created a podcast, so I can tear down all the women who hurt me"? Would you say?
No, no. I'm listening. I'm listening. I
Yeah, that's all I'm
no.
saying. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to express themselves. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is do it from a pure place. Don't just be getting up there talking about females when you know You understand what I'm saying? If we just talking, I'm not talking biblical principles or nothing. I'm just talking materialistically based on what you look like. Because the majority of the men who so-called a high value that makes six figures, which we know in the African American community, African American
One,
women make more money than we do, right?
yeah, we're one
And you
percent.
turn around, and then you turn around and and you ain't in shape, you don't take care of your body, but you only get to do that because you make over $100,000. Like that's just weird to me, right? Am I
Yeah,
tripping?
no, no, me and my wife, I've been married for 18 years now, right? So me and my wife talk about, um, we have these conversations sometimes, and we talk about what women see in men, because
Right.
I don't, I've never liked a man in my life, so I don't know these things. But one of the things that she always talks about is its security. It's the idea of uh, um, you will be able to take care of me if need be. If you want to take it back to caveman days, reptilian brain, right? It's that belief that if a big animal attacks me, you'll be able to take him down,
Right.
right? So it's the granted we're not attacking dinosaurs right now, or huge gorillas, right? So big broad body like this is not as important as having the finances that could buy a big broad body. So what I'm saying is women are many times, from my understanding, are attracted to the idea of stability, which is what that six figures brings, which is why he can say that he is a high value man. The problem again is it's very narrow minded, it's very small, and it only works for now. And once the woman sees beyond that, because remember, we're talking, that's reptilian brain, that's that very simplistic reptilian brain up front. Once the woman
So let
sees
me ask you
beyond
this
that,
question: Are you basically you are willing to risk all of who you are and marry somebody who don't you might not find attractive, that might not respect you, that might not honor you, all because he makes over
there are some women who will.
$100,000? That's crazy.
There are some women who will. Now,
That's
what the
crazy.
quality of that marriage looks like now, if, coming from a coach perspective, right? If we were to sit down and talk about what that marriage looks like, there may be some issues that were were started from before the marriage, because the foundation was built on something that was not solid, right? So
I'm marrying you. Like just track with me. I am marrying you because you make six figures. I don't find you physically attractive. I don't connect with you emotionally or spiritually. I don't necessarily uh, agree with how you even do finances, but because you can provide me water, lights, a place to sleep, a coach bag, I'm gonna take whatever you give me.
it does happen, unfortunately, and there's we all come broken over time. We all become broken over time, and some people will marry into that. Um, but again, I don't think that's the. I always wonder when I see stuff like that. What did your circle look like? What did your bubble look like? Did you have sisters? Did you have brothers? Did you have friends who were there and willing to talk to you? Did you have a tribe around you that was speaking into your life? to
Yeah.
to to have that conversation about, okay, this looks really good right now, and girl, that's wonderful, but what about tomorrow?
Yeah.
What happens if he loses his job? Like, right, those are the conversations that should happen, that needs to happen, but don't always happen, for whether the person's not open to it, or whatever.
And you know it's crazy? You know how many black women or just even white women are married to men that don't make six figures at all, been incarcerated, done dumb stuff, gained weight. You we can say this without a shot of a doubt. We have seen beautiful black, beautiful white, Asian, whatever you
Hmm.
want to pick as a race, women married to brothers, you be like, I'm not, I don't want to sound disrespectful because I want to respect all brothers, but it's like, bro, that's God. or that's you got put on with somebody that didn't necessarily want to be with somebody like you, but they did it anyway. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm saying, you
Yeah.
know, somebody said, I'm gonna put this quote up here. I'll put this quote up here. Look at this quote. Don't oversimplify it though. Security is significant for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna let you answer that because you know. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
let
yeah,
you.
yeah. It is. I mean, that could, me and my wife had that conversation. Is that can make somebody prettier, right? More attractive than you and I might see them as, right? So right I hate to use the scale because I've heard people abuse the scale of what somebody looks like, right? 1 to 10, 1 to 5, whatever it is, right? We could sit back and say, wow, Shamar's he's a pretty nice 5 there.
Right.
But look at that suit he's wearing, right? That costs at least 1,600. That's tailor made. That costs 2,000. That's tailor made. Wow, he's always smelling good. Wow, look at his car. Um, and that could raise his stock in the lady's mind, right? It's significant. It is significant. Um, but I think over time, right? There's character that comes into play
I
and all
think
these other things.
I think what I'm frustrated with is people get old, people gain weight, people get tired of looking at the same person whether they got a gut or a six pack.
Hmm.
That's just life, bro. So all
Yeah.
of this so-called attraction that we put so much stock in, it fades after a while. Now, to what Wani was uh, talking about don't oversimplify it though. Security is significant for a woman. I'm not gonna say it's not. I think it is. I think one of the things that I had to realize is um, that security when you get married ain't guaranteed though.
Exactly.
Like let's just be real. It ain't guaranteed. And here's the thing: it depends on the couple what security looks like.
Hmm.
Because if security means that I have to take care of everything, I can't guarantee that. If security looks like we have to guarantee everything, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I think people don't take into account. So I have to love you beyond a dollar amount because you're
Hmm.
not guaranteed that you're gonna always make that.
I,
Right?
I
And those who do make it, I've seen the poor and the rich struggle.
yeah,
Right?
indeed.
All right. So which leads me to because I don't want to stay on this topic for a long, long time. But here's the other thing that we're supposed to talk about that I think is very important. Um, that I think people need to ask the tough questions on. Um, when it comes to relationships, what does the
Hmm.
role look like now?
Hmm.
If both of us are working, both of us are making good money, or both of us have careers, what does it look like?
That's a
Right?
great
And a
question.
lot of times people don't ask those questions. So you're
Yeah.
arguing, and the woman's like, I make just as much money as him. I make more money than him. He ain't gonna be able to tell me what to do. And based on your faith and your family structure, it will
Hmm.
determine what all that looks like. If you are a man of faith in most cultures, the man is still ahead of the household, whether the money is made or not.
Indeed.
And the money is considered one. Now, if we just think of materialistically, is nah, you ain't gonna tell me what to do with my money. This is my money, this is what I made, and all that other kind of stuff. And even if people do have faith, they still struggle. But you understand what I'm saying? That's
I
a
do.
conversation that people don't need that wants to have. So, excuse me, what does the role look like?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. There's so many different ways I want to answer that. Um, because I think I think I'll say first, both people, both parties, husband and wife, or husband to be and wife to be, um, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right? They come to the table with two different pictures of what that role is. My role of being what a father is came from my dad, and his dad before him is passed down, passed down. So now my wife's role of what a dad looked like came from her stepfather. Um, Two very different pictures of what it should be. And so it's necessary to have the conversation with your spouse about what the role of a man should be in the relationship as you all come together and build those expectations together. I'm not saying the role should be X, Y, and Z, because I'm saying there's a lot of X, Y's, and Z's, and you both have to kind of settle on what it should be. I'm sure you have some key principles that you're going to pull out, just know who you are. You always got a right. We can talk about that, but
Right.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is both parties have to sit down and agree on what the role should be.
Right. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing right now is that
Hmm.
if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I care about them, I think my problem is that black men are being, especially I'm saying black men specifically, we are trying to figure out our roles every day. Because if both of us is working, then does she still cook? If both of us are working, does she or just I do the homework? And that's the
Yeah,
problem. Most men won't have the hard conversation and say to themselves, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I struggle with my role as a man in this marriage. And I struggle with my identity as a man in this marriage. And I love the woman that I'm with, but I have a tendency to fail in being faithful to her and helping her out because I won't deal with the insecurity of the realization that she might make more money than me, right? Or she may
yeah,
have a better understanding than me, or she may know how to lead better than me. And that's the problem. Most men don't want to be honest about the fact that I got a good woman who makes more money than me, but I don't got to change who I am because of it,
well,
right?
yeah,
I might
there's
have to
two
change
pieces
my
though.
responsibilities, but I don't have to change. I'm not changed. Let me use another word. I'm not less than because I don't make a certain amount of money,
Yeah, well,
right?
I think you're
So if
talking
you're
about two
saying,
things. Yeah,
go ahead,
that's
go
the
ahead.
identity and there's role, right?
Identity and role.
Identity and role. There's two, because my role, right? I'm sure you've cooked. I know you've cooked at your house, right?
Right. I've definitely cooked at my house.
You've also washed clothes,
But
right?
you know I can't really cook, so you're trying to play me right now. You
No,
feel
no,
me?
no.
You
But
know,
we I know I've
I
talked
know how
with
to
you
make fish
before
and grits.
about.
That's about it, though.
There you go. That's dinner, right? You call that dinner or breakfast. You got two meals.
I got you. I got you.
You got
I got
right. That's speaking to roles, but
you.
who I am, that's speaking to identity, and those can be those don't always line up, right? I think your identity has to be worked out between you and God, and maybe a mentor, but your role can you can help your wife can help you define that, and just like we help our wives define their role in our marriage, in our relationship. You went out.
Sorry. Let me be clear. As a man, I think my issue with this is I have to realize that I'm not less than because she makes more than me, because we consider ourselves to be one. We consider ourselves to be a part of a team where we're building and growing together. What's up, Reg? Um,
Reg.
and
Hey, hey.
and learning how
Something.
to value each other's role. In other words, if I make 80, she make 100, we got 180.
Indeed.
Whoever's at the house with the kids got to be the one to take care of the kids, right? If I'm home first, then I just help with the homework because I'm home first. I'm not less than because I'm helping with the kids, and she's not greater than because she doesn't have to have the kids because she makes $20,000. So it's really not about my price; it's about my principle.
Yeah,
So
I
most men
got
will
you.
focus on the price instead of the principle. The principle is we want to educate our kids to be the best that God has made them to be. And so whoever's available to do that at that time, she might be on a conference call, I might be free. We're going to do that work because the
Yeah,
principle is more important than the power position because there's too much playing in powers. And here I go with my points, right? And then the second thing is it also is the presence, right, versus the
hmm,
politics. So the principle is we're going to educate our kids at every chance that we have. The presence is that whoever's home, we're going to be there with them to develop them and help them to grow to be the best that we possibly can be. And we're not going to get into politics about, well, I make more money than you, you make more than me, because the value is The value is our love for one another,
Yeah.
right? And the venom is our social and economical standards. Like, yo, I've seen people argue over $1,000. I make $1,000 more than you. Well, first of all, the taxes and the government take all that, boo boo. I don't know
All
what you
that. Let's go.
so you trick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All that.
but
Right.
what we do is we argue about things that don't make no sense. You understand what I'm saying?
I
Like when I
do.
so when you hear Kevin Samuel say something, he's talking politics, right? And he's talking price. He's not talking principles and presence. And I think that
No.
has to be addressed because when we talk, as all three of us talking as men right now, we are all three men who are married. All of us got over a decade. So when we
Mhm.
hear another cat come on here talking about this need to be this and we've done this, and we know how to make money.
Hmm.
And I got to say this again. When I'm making over six figures, when I'm growing money and I'm doing business and stuff like that, and I tell people all the time, let's deal with reality. Those of us who know how to make six figures or more, it's ebbs and flows. There's seasons you winning really hard, and then you go through a season like I am, you like, Lord, my savings. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that entrepreneur in us realize that we have to have somebody that will love us in spite of everything that we are doing
That's
because
it.
they don't have that entrepreneur mind. They don't have that makeup. So they're really supporting the principle of being one versus the politics of who makes more money.
Yeah. I want my wife to make more money than me. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, listen, if what you got and what I got goes into one big pot,
Yeah.
listen, do it. Make the money. I'm good with it. Cause you know
Well, now
what?
you
We
know if
both
your
gonna
wife
eat.
make more money than you, ain't you a simp now?
Man, listen, no, I'm eating. We having crab and shrimp. I don't care about that. See, listen. Again, 18, right? We at 18 years now. We about to celebrate 20 years. That stuff is so that's the simple stuff, right?
Right.
Who cares, right? Because marriage cannot be about pride. It
Right.
can't. It has to be bigger than that. Relationships has to be bigger than that. When you decide to get married to a person, it ain't you, it ain't me. As far as roles, it's us.
It's
Eh,
definitely
Listen, at my house, we go with whoever's better at what. At some point, we just found out. Oh, Shamar, yeah, he's a better cook. Shamar's cooking. Oh, my wife,
family.
folding clothes, like like that. I still be like, we gotta roll these. She's doing that, right? Doing the homework. Okay, that's a Shamar thing. Keeping up with the assignments. That's a my wife thing. Like it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
That's simple stuff that people can't get over because of pride, because of image, because of things like that. And again, this guy is he's all about image. He's all about making it look good, making it smell good. And when that's what you're thinking about, you can't go to a deeper level because it's all surface.
Right. And Reg, here's my issue. How can an image consultant be the one to tell us how to be married? Like you a fashion dude, you tailor suits. You don't help relationships. And it's scary because this to show, and I know I'm gonna get fried for saying this. Oh Jesus. But the level of immaturity of us as men who have to settle for a man who tells you how to put on a shirt and a tie and match some socks and shoes, and we get excited about him degrading women and it makes us feel better. I mean, speak to that. I mean, like, and I'm only asking this question because there's people who are joining me on what is this? Lord Jesus, I'm always messing up on TikTok live, and I want them to hear this because they just joined in the conversation. So I want you to explain that, and they probably can hear you. Somebody put in the comments if you can hear the guys talking. But what do you say to that? Because the image. How many years you got, Reg?
You said what?
How many years you got?
13.
13 years. You got 18 years of marriage. I got 17. and he got 2 divorces and a Taylor suit, and he get to tell us how. Come on now, I feel some kind of way. I'm trying not to, and I know Reggie gonna be the kind of
No,
sweet.
what what I'm going to say, and I'm so glad to be with you guys, man. I know I've been listening through the whole time. I was at my son's martial arts thing there, so family first. You know what I'm saying? So,
You drop
um,
your stuff at
yeah.
martial arts.
Indeed.
What's that?
You drop your son at martial arts.
No, 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 no. I was at his class. He has martial arts class.
You were sitting in the class with your son.
Yeah.
Ain't that your white job? Man, you simping, man. You simping.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Boy, please, 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 look here, man. Like, look,
I knew
I'm
it was
just saying.
coming.
that's 100% man right there. That's 100% man right there.
Okay, go ahead.
I love it, man. Well, look, I would say as far as that, man, and y'all have had some great points, great discussion so far. As far as that whole thing with Kevin Samuel and he's an image consultant. All right,
Mhm.
he has a place in today's society because it's what people are looking for. You know what I'm saying? Certain people.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? He has his following. He has this, that, and the other. It's all about what you are looking for. Do I knock him as far as like what the things that he says? The one thing that I will say that that could be beneficial if you're looking at it, this, that, and the other. Like for me, for instance, I'm horrible at fashion, right? Like some
Oh, he
of the
froze.
little fashion tips, this, that, and become a little bit more fly, some stuff like that. That's cool. But as far as like the essence of what you value as a man, I don't take that from you. I had a great example coming up, having my father as far as like what's the great example of a high value man. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
have a man, what I'm saying? My father's he's been married, him and my mom, they're at 54 years of marriage. You know what I'm saying? He grew up, there was five kids in the house. You know what I'm saying? He working full-time job, doing full-time ministry, just doing it all. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that and just the standard that he kept in the household, the qualities that he displayed to me were the things that I look at as a high value man. Having a discipline, having the fear of God, bringing God into the family, into the household, having a strong work ethic. Making 6 figures, I don't think was ever something that was like quote a goal. It was like making sure that everybody has what they need and that you're being taken care of. I think today when you put a number as far as like the quote the value sense, then I think you actually are degrading in a sense, kind of like who you see yourself as a man. So this pandemic, if nothing else, has taught people that when you have both spouses in the home, right? Because it's been, it's a lot of cases like that. Okay, everybody's working from home now, right? So nobody's actually going out. Everybody's staying there. So okay, I'm in my office. Your spouse is in their office, and everybody's still making their money. This, that, and the other. What do the roles look like then? You know what I'm saying? What do the roles look like? Okay, the kids are here too. They got the virtual thing going on. Um, it's all about serving one another. You know what I'm saying? It's about serving each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about, because I make more, you have to serve me and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Or if you make more, I feel like I have to serve you. You should be trying to serve one another, you know what I'm saying, equally. And I think if both people always come to the table with that mindset, then it's going to be, everything is going to be fine. But as far as like a high value man, I think a high value man is a man that will walk in integrity. You've said it before, that character is way up there, having that priority, you know what I'm saying? Like who's first, who's second, where are my priorities right now? You know what I'm saying? I've took some hard knocks over the years, you know what I'm saying, just from not having things in their proper order. And when things aren't in proper order, yeah, I mean, you can knock somebody and say, hey, you're not a high value man. But when you have things in order and you have your house and things are in order in place like that, you can't put a price tag on that. You can't say because I'm not at 6 figures, I'm not a high value individual. Because it's the people in my household value me, then I look at myself as a high value man.
Exactly. And I think that's the
Yes.
part that people won't have the conversation on. I truly believe that women value a healthy relationship and honor. Not saying you don't need to make money. Not saying that you don't need to have an income coming in to provide
Right.
for your family. Not saying that if everything falls and crumbles, you got to be the first one to be on the front line to generate the revenue to pay bills and provide for your family. I think what breaks my heart is that we now have this culture where I'm only going to love you if you look and give me what I want. You have to look a certain way and you got to give me what I want. And then once I make this money, you're not allowed to say anything to me. You're not allowed to tell me how you feel a certain way. You don't get to do that because I'm six figures. And here again, the stupidity of this is more women make more money in six-figure categories than we do. Now, we may hold the line at the top echelon of businesses where there's a lot of sexism and there's not equal pay. But the reality is that the majority, especially in the African American community, they make more money. And so what if a woman was to do the same thing? So here's my thing. When we talk about roles, we're basically saying principles, what we value as a couple, right? Versus pricing, right? We're also saying that we value being present, like who's ever available to help, who's ever to help is more important than the politics of everything. And here's the third thing I think that we need to add to this. We need to talk about private practice outweighing public performance. What I mean by that is it's too much of she got to perform for me in order for me to love her. I can't tell you how many, because think about it. If your money come up short, she should be allowed to leave. She should be allowed to bounce. If you ain't making if you make 100,000, you get to 9,000, you get to 99,099, she should be able to bounce. Because you no longer six figures, right? Technically, you ain't six figures once Mr. IRS come in, you really not six figures. And then on top of that, and the reason why I'm saying these things is because we put too much emphasis. I'm not saying we shouldn't provide, but we all know women who have stood by broke, incarcerated, low educated, sitting in the passenger side, dirty white tank top, and be like, that's my man. I love it. You see those videos with like, that's my man. I'm gonna stand by him. That's factual. Our wife can gain 2 pounds and we can gain 50. And be like, yeah, she kind of big, man. I ain't feeling her. I be looking at some of my homies like, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at her. She got 2, you got 40, and you over here tripping about that. And I think that's the problem is we put so much of a unhealthy, ungodly expectation on how a woman should look versus who she is. Because ain't nothing like we all come home as men and we get beat up in the world. We get beat up. I watch women get on the phone after work, and I'm gonna ask y'all this next question, but I need to say this. They'll get off work and they'll be in the car with their girlfriends, and by the time they get home to us, they done unpack everything they went through. Yeah, girl, she did such and such, but you gotta pray, girl. You gotta watch your temper, man. You gotta do that. When we call each other, yo, what up? Right? Now we're different because we're older, we're more mature. We three will, we'll cry together, we'll talk through stuff, we'll get frustrated and share where we are, and we'll check each other about our marriages. But most men don't get that. So I got dudes in skinny jeans making less than $40,000 telling me how to treat a woman. with the collar pop and the tight shirt on, no work ethic whatsoever, dogging women, especially on TikTok, Facebook. And it's like, who raised you?
What's wrong with skinny jeans? You don't like skinny jeans? You got something against skinny jeans?
I knew you were going. I know Siobhan was going to say something about the skinny jeans.
Let me tell you something. If you my weight 270, 275, and you see these young boys, they don't do no leg workouts. You understand what I'm saying? You see, and that's how their life is, just like their legs, proportionate. You understand? It's just
He said,
no, I'm not trying to be laughing, but I'm dead serious. It's like this is the next question I have for you, because I think this is important. As men, what are some of the things that we need to get back to as far as our identity? Because our identity now is tied up into the swagger, the car, the house. Now, most of them live in an apartment with a Charger. You've seen it. Now you just seen them. They got the Chargers, they got the Rims, they got it, and then they pull up in the parking lot. And you know me, I'm terrible. I be like, man, that's a nice truck. And I'm like, how much you pay for that? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I pay like 80,000. I said, woo, you pay 80,000 for that? Yeah, he's like, how much does the rims cost? Man, the rims set me back, man. You know, I put like 7,000 on the rim. I'm like, dang, 7,000? I'm like, that's what's up. I see you got the LED lights under the truck. I see you coming down the block at night. System in there, how much that? Oh man, I paid 15,000. You know I got to go all out. I said, yeah. And then me, I'm shady. I'm petty, y'all. The next question come out my mouth. I'm like, yo, did you ever buy that house you was talking about? Nah, man, I still live in that apartment, man. I got to put an alarm on my car, make sure nobody else steals. I said, wow, man. Your credit score, you work on your credit? Nah, man, I ain't really find no time to do that. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, you got to make time for that, man. I mean, you put all the work into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. That. Nah, I'm just asking questions, young blood. I ain't judging. I'm just asking. So you ask these young blood these questions, and then he can go $80,000 on a vehicle, and you live in an apartment, and then a sister will walk right past, driving a hoopty or like you know how women do. They'll get like a little Toyota Sequoia, little boxed in joint, as long as they got it clean, payments are low. And then they hit the garage door button. And then I'm looking at my homies, because you know we all play ball in the gym. It leads to this question, because I'm being petty. Let me just move on. This leads to this question. How is it that, and I think this is the better way to frame it, why is it that young men today have so much emphasis on fashion and clothes and cars than they do on things that add value to their life? A house, a quality young lady in their life to build with, being a good father and a husband. Why is those things so limited? And here's the crazy thing. We have more fathers in the home than we've had in a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
But we still get in the same terrible mentality. And the mentality now is, I can have a house. No, I can have a car. I can have my lady. I can take care of my kid, but I can't be committed to a woman. Why do we have that? Why do we have the materialism more important than the manhood?
I'll let you tackle that first one there, Coach.
Why do we have the materialism?
You know Magic Johnson, that one right there?
Well, look, well, I can jump in. I don't have no problem jumping in. But I mean, I think part of it, I mean, because again, when I look at the times that we are in, right? You'll sound like an old man or whatnot, 47 years old, ready to be 48. And there are some things that are prevalent now that weren't prevalent, growing up. You know what I'm saying? Just some of the basic standard principles and things of that nature. Like as far as like the most valuable quality man that I know is my father. You know what I'm saying? That is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Clarence Carter Senior. I'm sorry. Clarence Carter Jr. Senior. I keep saying junior. Senior. That's the best man that I know. You know what I'm saying? And the qualities and things that he showed growing up. It wasn't a lot of like talk and things of that nature, but it was more so you watch what I do. You know what I'm saying? I think those conversations and those examples as they were back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And today and again, it'll sound like the old man on the lawn thing, get off my lawn type of stuff. But with today with social media and just how prevalent it is today and how just out front in society it is today, has been a detriment in a sense, because everything today is about, how many followers you have, how many likes do you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the thing that's going to get me the most, quote, attention, be it good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not even all the attention that you get is not positive attention. You know what I'm saying? So today, instead of, we used to idolize like the movie stars and the sports guys, the celebrities and all the other stuff. Today, everyone's goal is, I'm going to try to be that. I'm going to have that same platform, from my own living room. You know what I'm saying? I can be here. I can have my own show. I don't need NBC. I don't need cable. I can do all this stuff right here from my living room. I can put out whatever I want to, whatever shock value I can get. And the more people that come on, the more, positive, negative, whatever it is, I'm getting people to say something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting some type of reaction. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people are saying on TikTok is straight ego. It's just all about ego, you know, and they just want to be seen. But what would you say, Shimon?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an acronym a friend of mine used to use for ego. When you said that, but yeah, the wonderful thing about today is we can sit here and we can all have a conversation on social media. We can have TikTok people on TikTok following. We can have the IG popping and Facebook Live going all at the same time. And us, I say we just some regular dudes who are trying to do good things, right? Us regular guys can have a great conversation. Great people can follow it. Will Smith could even chime in if he wanted to, on what we're talking about in the comments. If he follows you, JT. I'm just saying.
You said, and the first thing popped in my mind. I'm gonna keep it moving. Though. Go ahead.
I'm not talking. We're not talking entanglements today. Okay, but that's the wonderful thing about today.
Okay.
The downside is, we could also get on here and Reggie could put on his very best, and everybody can have on their very best, and we look like we popping and we making 400,000 a year, and everybody's like, wow, look at them, look at what they're doing, wow, that's great, I want to be like them. But today's social media allows regular people to look really good for a short period of time, and then people walk away with the belief that that's all the time. I mean, if you think about it,
About that, you're saying, yeah, because you can look good in a 1 minute video.
you sure can. You sure can. Listen, I got a really nice suit
Whatsoever. Go ahead.
from here up. I can put on a nice suit from here up, right? And I could actually rent it from a spot, right? And take it back. And all I spent was $30. But you think I'm doing really well. Maybe I'll take the picture in front of a plane. I could green screen a plane behind me right now, right? So there's facades that we create that everybody can create now. Back in the day, to Reggie's point, Hollywood could create it. Yo MTV Raps could create it. There were only a couple of people who could create the facade that people were trying to follow. And so you could be like Method Man, or you could be like somebody. Now,
old right now, right? You talking about Method Man? We old. We
Red man. Yes,
that's
sir.
fine.
Yes, sir.
That's fine.
Smooth cat.
Hey.
I'm about to be like, yeah, Lil Kim, Nas.
Yeah. For these.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So here's my question to this, because my problem is that there is no emphasis on love. There is none. There is no emphasis on I just love you and you're the best thing that God has blessed me with. I love you for your laughter. I love you for your quality time. I love you for the fact that when I need you, you're there for me. I love you because, even when I don't get it right, you're there for me. I love your smile. I love the way you walk. I love the goofy laugh. I love that you laugh. Like I tell my queen all the time, I love the fact that you are opposite because it helps me. I'm an ambitious dude. Y'all know that. If God didn't come in my life, all I care about is being a millionaire, making movies, doing stuff. I don't want to talk about hanging with you. I'm so cheap. I ain't never went to no strip club. I'm not working 40 hours a week, 3 times in a week to throw my money away in the week. I know how I think. It makes no sense. I'm about my
I'm right there with you.
So for me, I had to have somebody that was like, oh, let's go watch a movie. Let's go hang out. Let's go out to eat. I'm like, we can eat in the house. And she was like, no, you got to try stuff. You got to do that. I think what we have lost is true love and intimacy and care for somebody. Am I off? So my question is, why is loving someone for who they are never enough anymore? Like, I just love you. I'm not saying you got to be rich. I'm not saying you got to be poor. I'm just saying, man, I really love your smile. I really love being around you. I feel safe. As a man, we all know we get beat up every day. Again, 13 years, 18 years, 17 years. So as men, we got, between us, we have over close to what, almost 40 years of experience.
18, 13, 31. What you got? What you got, Shamar? 18,
18.
13, 31. What you got, Jay?
I got 17, close to 18.
Yeah. Yeah. 31. So what's that? 47, 48 years. Yeah. Almost 50 years almost.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
almost 50 years. So all of us who have close to 50 years of experience being married, when I see a Kevin Samuels, when I see a Fresh and Fit, I think this is the dumbest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Because once you get married to somebody, people get comfortable, people have children. I don't care how fine you think you are. You are a rare breed to get married at 151 and stay 151. Okay?
Yeah, that's rare.
Let's deal with reality, brother. You
Those are some different kind of genes.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said they've been on here married 30 years. And the sad thing is, so here's my question. I gotta say it again. Where's the love? Why is it? And women do it well. I get in trouble every time I sound like a simp, beta male. Women be like, man, I just love my husband. He's good to me. You know what I'm saying? Where, that's my old lady. That's my, because there's not a level of vulnerability with us, but I can answer the question. So I'm gonna just go ahead. Why love is not the first thing.
I mean, well, you go ahead, Shamar. You go first this time. You go ahead first this time. I'll let you go first this time.
Sure. I think it is. I think it is, and it can be. I think we just don't talk enough about it. I think we hear a lot more of the less than positive stories than we do the positive stories. I think it absolutely is out there, and I'll say there's imperfect love out there. There's imperfect love stories out there because we're all imperfect and we're loving people who are imperfect. And behind that choice of love, there's action. I know it's out there. I see it every day.
Okay, team optimistic. Uh,
Look, I was gonna say it is love, man. You got love and hip hop. You got
love and hip hop.
look. It's gonna come back and it's gonna sound like a broken record. But the question was you said why is it they don't look at love today or why can't they love today? And when you just look at your spouse and just see this, that, and the other. I think one of the issues is when you have a platform. If I can pick up this device, right here, right, and I can see 500 different women, in a day. You know what I'm saying? When you look at beauty, when the person that you meet, I think the whole social aspect and the intimacy piece, is really kind of lost what it was, where it's like, okay, back in the day, you met your wife, you met Jackie at church, right? You met her in a social in a actual social place. You had to walk up, introduce yourself, this, that, and the other. All that stuff has been substituted now. You know what I'm saying? It's been substituted for a lot of different things. So I can be introducing myself to multiple people at the same time. You know what I'm saying? As far as like with you, I think with individuals today, with having so many options, when you think they're options, so many different things that you look at and you say, okay, what is beauty? What is beauty? What is beauty? When you look at your mom, okay, when I look at my mom, I see beauty. You know what I'm saying? But then when you have, all this other stuff now that you're looking at that quotes defines itself as being beauty, it gets distorted. It gets distorted. So unless you keep your focus and you keep your motives pure and you keep your eyes, just as under control as possible, then it's hard to kind of like see that stuff. I think today is kind of really it's put a whole haze over that whole notion of like what's love. We got all this different stuff out here. You got The Bachelor and you got the all this other crazy stuff that just throws all. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Every relation. Somebody just said here on TikTok Live that it ain't battle tested, and I agree 100%.
What does that mean? It's not battle tested.
Battle tested is that you learn your core values by the people who are around you, not a smartphone, not a tablet. Like you learn how to cook. When we was growing up, a lot of times you was washing dishes. You was interacting with people. You were having hard conversations in your relationship. You wasn't just down here trying to be with somebody and y'all wasn't growing together and going through the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You ate at the dinner table together.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in my house now, you know, you got people walking around with smartphones. So we shut it down and we build relationships. We have the arguments, we have the conversations. I have a half an hour with each one of my children where I just hear their heart. Because I got to get to know them. I have to let them know that there's a life and a space beyond a smartphone.
Right.
So when you watch Love and Hip Hop, trash. When you watch The Bachelor, trash. When you went 90 Day Fiance, trash. You know, married, whatever, like instant grits, trash. I like first and foremost, I don't care who don't like I say this. That is not real life. Real life is you have to grow up to be a man by being around another man and watching love right in front of you, watching that couple develop and go through it. You understand? When me and Jackie get into an argument, me and my son will have a conversation. That I was too loud, son. I lost my temper.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be a better man than me. So what I'm working on is this. And my son has watched me repent and improve. And then, like today, he had to put something together. They had to tie up the boxes, move all the stuff out in the trash. He walked past me with an attitude, his phone in his hand. Put the phone down, fool. Get these boxes. Focus on the task that's in front of you because the attention span is short. So imagine being married, you've been married to your smartphone.
Mm.
And you scrolling and you watching minute videos, then you have to have a relationship with somebody that you love, and now you got to have a 30-minute conversation on how to raise a child. You ain't got no attention span. You got to have a 30-minute conversation about how we're going to do bills. You got to sit there and go through your credit score together. You have not built a relationship where you're actually trying to truly get to know one another and truly having it, because you haven't been battle tested. You haven't had the hard conversations. Am I wrong, Shamar? Am I missing it?
Couple of thoughts.
Pushback face. Give me the pushback face. Go ahead.
I like to look at things 360, right? So I'm trying to look at all the pieces, right? Like even the idea of a smartphone, right? I have a smartphone, I have a computer, laptop, I got an Oculus, I got an Xbox, I got a computer, I got all the stuff, I got all the toys.
So you defending
right?
yourself?
No, okay, I see what you're doing there. Okay, y'all finished now? Y'all finished?
Okay,
y'all finished?
go ahead,
Ha
bro.
ha, jokey.
Go,
Listen,
go.
I'm sorry.
He went Oculus. I'm like, okay, so he.
You know what? I'm sorry. I got some older gentlemen in the room here, so you know. Oh, woo, got him.
Shots fired.
Just saying.
That's good comeback. Good comeback. Good comeback.
So it's a choice how you use them. It's a choice how you use them. On the Xbox, me, my dad, my uncles, that's how we play and keep in touch because we're in 3 different states, right? So though we can't be in the same place to be social together, we're in different spaces in different places being social using the internet. So it's just how you use them. You can still build relationship utilizing those things they're just tools. They're tools. But when the tools become everything, that's where you lose, right? The tools can't overwhelm all the other stuff.
Right.
First of all, you're over 40. We know daggone well you ain't playing no video games for 14, 15 hours unless you a gamer. Okay? You might get a weekend, you might get excited for a little
Them thumbs, they don't even move fast enough. Them thumbs ain't moving fast enough, bro.
These thumbs were built by Nintendo.
Yeah. Them definitely ain't no
It's not
thumbs, no Xbox thumbs. You tripping. So
that's that Call of Duty.
Yeah, okay. The way you do that, you don't play Call of Duty. You play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't win a lot. So
you see what happens? He's still bitter over the old man joke.
Like this.
You know?
Man went like this. He went
Just tore you down. Come on, man. Just like that.
Where's the love? What happened to that question? Where's the love?
So the love is this. Get off your phone. Sit down and go on a date with somebody and leave the phones in the car. Sit down and have a conversation with somebody and not watch television. Like my wife called me out the other day. I'm gonna use myself as an example. She was like, why can't we just come in the room and play cards? Why can't we just come in the room and just sit here and enjoy each other's company and just laugh and joke and tell stories? Why can't we just I can't say that on here, but like
don't say that.
Yeah, like I said. So there's things that you could do where you can minister to one another. Lay
Ah.
hands, okay? Like my old church folks say,
Ah. Should have bought a Hyundai.
should have bought a Hyundai, right? So,
E. coli, E. coli.
They
right.
got
I
a
felt the spirit move.
Suzuki.
So the problem is that we don't know how to be present.
That's fair.
We're not present. So when you talk about those things, yes, they are tools because they're not the devil, but the people who use them make it the devil. So if I am spending quality time with the person that I love, then I have to learn how to be present.
Yeah.
I can't just be in place. And that's what people do. They get in place. I'm at the dinner table. I'm here, ain't I? I'm with you, ain't I? But that's not really saying it. It's the same thing as saying, I loved you, didn't I pay the bill? I loved you, didn't we got lights, right? I love you. That's not how it works. How it works is that when I am with you, I am looking at you, I am engaging, I'm asking questions, I'm building something with you. Because when you talk love, in order to talk love, then you have to talk language. In order to understand your language, I have to listen. In order to really listen, I have to be present. And when I'm present, then I have to get an understanding. I cannot grow with you if I am not doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't now one of us Negroes on this podcast right now still married because we just showed up.
No, it's intentional. It's intentional work.
Right. You gotta make a choice.
Yeah. But that's my only point, right? It's a choice. It's a choice, right? You can have all the stuff that I talked about, right? Or you can have none of the stuff that I talked about as far as, technology. And you can have none of the stuff and not be present. Being present is a decision, it's a choice.
Yeah,
so, and because I think what happens sometimes is we give, y'all talk about my age, I'm over 40, that is true. I think we give this generation a bad rep, and some of it is warranted, absolutely. But some of it is just, we need to help them learn how to be present regardless of the technology, because their kids will have similar challenges. They'll just have different tools.
Right.
Not more, yeah.
And can I say this? Let's not say it's not a generation that gets a bad rap. It's the parenting. You as a parent teach your child that it's okay. You're the one who gave them the tablet and walked off. You're the one who sat them in front of the TV so you could talk to your girlfriends on the phone about how bad their daddy was. You're the one who's sitting there talking to your homies on PlayStation, Call of Duty, talking about, I don't want to be bothered with her. You chose not to be present. And there's a word you used that was very important, intentional. Yeah. I intentionally want to be with you. I intentionally want to listen to you, be a part of your life, and want to know your heart and what your desires are. And this is what would be labeled simping. This is what would label a beta male. When I be like, fellas, I can't hang out with y'all today. I want to be with my wife and spend time with her. She just needs me today. Look at you looking like a simp. You don't run your house. No, my leadership is based on my presence. My leadership is based on my servanthood. My leadership is not based on me being able to dictate when I come and go and be a jerk about it. The true essence of a great man is how he's willing to love his wife. So when I listen to other people's content and they're what's your weight?
What's your weight?
That's what they say. What's your weight? When you talk to them women, what's your weight? How many kids you got?
Oh, your weight, like actual weight.
Yeah, that's
weight.
well.
And then as a man, I'm thinking, okay, and this is where I might sound wrong. And that's why both of y'all are on this, because you keep me accountable, because I tend to go hard on people who do this stuff. I feel uncomfortable with a man who got his collar turned up like a female with a Gucci fanny pack across his chest. Right? A Gucci fanny pack across his chest.
Like that.
Y'all gonna turn your collar up to be funny. Okay. And he's weighing $151 and cursing women out. Because the reality is, if he was in front of us as men, ain't no way on everything I love. He would never say that in front of me around my daughter. He would never say that in front of me around my sister or my wife. I'd change his life. You hear me? But let me finish. So the problem is you're using your masculinity to be toxic at that moment for the benefit of getting a crowd, because that's a niche, right? Bitter men can be a niche that can make you money. So you're building your money on a niche. But if you know, if we was in the room, right, I'm gonna put all my taekwondo on my. If you talk to somebody's wife or mama like this man is talking to him in the room, it's not gonna happen. Even on the Fresh and Fit. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I think we need to talk about the solutions, but we also need not negate the fact that these things would not happen if men were to not tolerate it. You ain't disrespecting nobody's mama. You ain't disrespecting nobody else. In our community, we was growing up, a man that says something like that on social media in public, if we saw him, there would be at least 4 or 5 men like, hey man, don't be talking to her like that. But you don't need to know her age. That was taboo. It was a level of respect there. You know, so what, she got kids. They ain't none of your business, bro. But, and I have to admit, there is some error on the women going on there, because he's not the only one who does it. It's a bunch of shows now that's like that. And we are accepting this narcissism of broken men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm a strong 7 just because I got my braces on. So if you try to make me a 6, I'm gonna feel some kind of way, right? I'm a strong 7, 7.2 or something like that. I ain't no beauty pageant, chiseled jaw, abbed out. Not yet though. I'm not playing with the body. I can't.
Keep working on it. Keep working on it.
I'm going hard on the paint on that.
Gotta keep going with it.
And even if I was, all of that is for the potential of looking attractive to my wife, my queen. There is no one else I need to impress. So I'm in love with one woman. So here is another man telling other men that you can't pick a woman based on the way she's shaped. Wow, everybody knows that the men who are picking these women are not even built like that. And the reason why I say that is because we have created a space where denigration, degrading, defaming, demoralizing, damaging women publicly is being praised, right? So how do you combat content that is publicly being celebrated that does not honor our women? Now, I gave you the mess. You know what I'm saying? I gave you the mess, but what does that look? You 2 men tell me how we as 3 men, 13 years, 18 years, 17 years of marriage, over almost 50 years of experience, made mistakes, close to divorce, arguments, fights, apologize, restored relationships, parenting, daughter having cancer, kids having disease, right? Blow-ups and space and all that type of stuff. As men who work through this, how do we now make the next generation of men realize that it is actually work, and it is actually, here's a word most men don't like, submission. Right? And think about this. I want you to tackle 2 things. The abuse of Black women on this content, because that's what's most popular right now. And I want to be clear when I say that. A lot of the denigration of these women are Black. On the majority of these shows are Black women, and they're dark skinned, Shamar. They're Black women and they're dark skinned, right? And then if they are a pretty woman, the woman who's light skinned and pretty, she's degraded just as much because they don't think she has a mind and she's smart. So both are losing. How do we get back as men to be able to tell men that that's not true value?
Well, Reggie, I'll let you go ahead and boil ocean there. On that
Man.
one. That's a huge question.
That is a huge question, and I'll just tackle just whatever what portion of that. I think some of it, Jay, is when you look at the social construct, you look at the village, right? You look at the village. I remember growing up, my dad used to take me to the barber shop, and in the barber shop, it was a certain conversation that went on in the barber shop. You know what I'm saying? You learn some things as a man growing up, in the barber shop. You know what I'm saying? I think over time that probably those conversations that I used to hear coming up have definitely changed today. You know what I'm saying? So I think is what we can do as men is when you have so many voices that are, going in one, or saying one thing. Okay. What the best we can do is, speak our truth, live our truth, affect the village and affect those that we can, those that want to hear, because there are people that want to hear what we're saying right now. Right? There are men that will embrace what we're saying, and then of course there's a great fraction of men that will say, "Oh man, all them jokers up, they don't know what they're talking about." You know what I'm saying? And that a lot of times is based off of what the individual is accustomed to. So in my house, if it was not, cussing and degrading of women and this, that, and the other growing up, then of course that's going to be something that I'm going to carry myself with me, and that's something that I pass on to my boys. You understand? I have 2 boys, so when things get heated in my house, I make sure that I remain calm. Okay, I don't need them to see, all the lashing out and this, that, and the other, and the cussing and trying to degrade, my wife, their mom, with any kind of bad language or things of that nature. You have to model it. I mean, today, there's only so many, people that I can influence. Those ones that come to me, because in the arena that I'm in, I have a certain level of influence. Those men that are around me, I have to do my best job to live the best, the best version of me as far as what I see a man should be. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say I get it right every time. Of course not. This, that, and the other. But you have to do that. You have to model it out for people today. You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk the talk and walk the walk.
So you think the model is publicly, because we're not going to change everybody. I mean,
of course not.
But the best model is really the home. It's really fathers talking. I want to put this comment up here. I think this is my homie that I was in the military with. He said, "I rock with you a lot, but you are off base." And so I put this up here not to, because I love him. He's my guy. Once a boasting mate, always a boasting mate. Y'all know how we do. Y'all pee on a little bit, but y'all was doing. I don't know what y'all doing, but you know how we are. So look at Reggie's face like, hold up. But,
I wasn't a boasting.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying y'all wasn't boasting mates, So y'all know that life. But what makes that important is the value system. I think a lot of people don't like to talk about the value system. And value is that I see you. I see my son as an extension of me. My ceiling, the top of where I am when I die, is his floor.
Absolutely.
So he stands on the shoulders of who I am as a man. So if all I am is about hoeing and sleeping around, and even in the kingdom of God, because we're all believers in Jesus Christ, right? All of us are elders in church, right? We are men of God. We don't, we haven't talked about that a lot, but that's exactly where we are. Even we looking like pimps. So there is a standard that has been negated. It's been negated. It's okay to leave your wife unless you got a good business and you got a good ministry. It's okay to leave your kids behind unless you got a good business and a good ministry or a good career. And what people put so much value on is the notoriety instead of the solidarity.
Yeah.
So when somebody talks about their notoriety, their fame and their passion is more important. Have that. Somebody said here, I want to put this up because I think this is important to say. It says, you don't want men to stand up and have standards. Men in general should not have to roll over for women that don't respect them or themselves. Now, here's the crazy thing. I'm going to leave that up there. I agree.
Yeah, leave that up there.
I agree with what he's saying. I think my issue is the way we go about it, right? If a woman cusses me out and she tells me I ain't handsome enough, she don't want to go with me, she don't think I'm good, you ugly, get out of my face, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean I should curse her out and call it a B word. That just means that she's not mature enough to be with a man who has high standards. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I'm not saying he's wrong in what he's saying because he says you have to do that. And here's the thing that I think is important. We don't have the problems they have because we're not in that circle. You understand what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to have that conversation. If you hang with hoes, you get hoe mentality. If you hang with people who curse and fuss, because association breeds simulation. So whoever I associate, I'm assimilate with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
I
wants
can
to
see
have
that.
that conversation because that's the hardest conversation to have. If I hang with this group of people, then I'm going to attract and be drawn and be in relationships with those type of people. So
True.
and this my dude. This my dude. We was on a boat together in the Navy, man. He remembered me when I needed Jesus all the way. So you
So
know,
I'm curious. I'm curious in that statement. Is he saying that
The
you
not
don't want men to have standards, or we don't want men to have standards, or the general population doesn't want men to have standards? Because
no,
that's why I'm
no. Yeah, he's referring to me saying I don't want men to have standards. I do want men to have standards, and I do want men to stand up for the way they disrespected. I just want them to stand up in a different way. Instead of cursing her out, remove yourself. Instead of degrading her for degrading you, stay classy with yours. Right?
yeah, I think
And the same
I think it's
standard for what you're looking for, just choose, just get out of that gym, get out of that pool, man. Go somewhere else.
we live in a
Man, I hope I am answering the question.
so if I could kind of chime in on that statement. I think it's important to remember we live in a broken world with broken people who have been through trauma and situations that have made them or put them in situations where they feel like they have to defend themselves or whatever have you, whether it be men or women. So if a woman um, does not want you, let's just say that situation, right? They don't want you and they respond in a way that's less than positive towards you, and it may be even offensive. Sometimes men respond out of their own brokenness and respond in a way that calls them outside of their name, and then it creates a downward spiral, right? So I think that's what's happening a lot of times. No, we absolutely want men to have standards. We want women to have standards. I just think that sometimes our standards are not realistic, and then we respond out of our brokenness, right? Like the whole idea of women gain weight, they do that. That happens over time. Women gain weight, men gain weight, bodies change, faces change, skin changes. All that happens. You can have a standard, but understanding that over time, life changes. Life is like being on a motorcycle with a person. If you don't learn to lean, if you haven't ridden a motorcycle, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't learn to lean with the person, as you know, as life changes, the motorcycle is going to spin out of control, right? So you have to figure out, okay, what are my standards, but then over time, are they realistic in this season of my life, right? um Somebody may say, I have the standard, I'll never be homeless and I'll never live or I'll never work at McDonald's, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
listen, you done lost your job. Times are hard right now. I went to Cookout and they said, hey, here's your milkshake. And if you know anybody who wants work,
Yeah,
here's a flyer, right?
right.
So if you say you'll never work at Cookout, but your family's over here like the unemployment is run out, and you gotta make things happen, you make it happen. So it's about figuring out what is my standard over time and what should it look like right now.
Right.
And I'll throw in too. I think
Hold
as
up.
far as like with the
Say
with
this,
the with the
let me say this before you go. This is
oh
actually Anthony Griffin that I went to church with. Amazing father. Loves his wife, his kids. Dude is just amazing. It's funny. I thought it was my Navy guy, but it's actually Anthony Griffin that went to the church. Real tall dude. Um, just loves his family. So now I'm really confused because he's an amazing dude who loves his family. So I'm trying to figure out. And he got great standards. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But go ahead, Reg.
yeah, I was just gonna say just to add on because yeah, Shamar made some great points there, and I guess the other aspect of it too is what type of relationship are you in? Are you in a covenant relationship as far as marriage, or are you dating? Or is it just someone that
Good
you're
point.
involved with? Those are two different. Those are two totally different, two totally different things.
Oh
One of them,
yeah.
real quickly, exit left. You know what I'm saying? Like if y'all are just in the dating stage, or y'all trying to like get to know each other, and all this other stuff happens as far as disrespect and things of that nature. That's not even worth an argument. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not even worth an argument. It's exit left. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like that person will find the one that's for them, just like you will find the one that's one for you. But you don't have to expend, a whole lot of, mental energy on that, if you don't need to, if you're not in the covenant. Now, if you're in the covenant, then of course that needs to be something that you need to ask yourself, what was the standard or what was the consistency in the beginning? How long have you guys been together? You have to, do those, look at things, that timeline, because I guarantee it didn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? There were some things along the way that were happening that was kind of, falling off a little bit, and then you find yourself, okay, now you're getting disrespected and getting degraded. You're like, and
Yeah,
you're wondering,
that's a good
where
point.
did that come from?
That's a great point.
Where did that come
Good
from?
point.
So, and it's something that, learning from, doing those check-ins, whatever it is, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, yearly, whatever it is, check-ins. I think those are things that you can put in place that will kind of help things kind of stay at a consistent level. Because I think consistency, is what a lot of women, and, men too, we all look for. We want that consistency, and so when things kind of fall off some, we can notice it. You know what I'm saying? But if things are up and down, this, that, and the other, you don't know where you are because things are they're never stable. So I don't know what solid ground is because we're always the emotional roller coaster.
Right. So I want us to close with this consistency, right? And I appreciate y'all being on here today. I'm gonna wrap it up because I don't want us to go past an hour and a half, which we've already done. Unless Shamar, you had something else you want to add?
No. I'm listening. Just great point. Because those are different.
Yeah.
Exit stage left quick. Gotta go.
Yeah. I think what Red said is powerful. Consistency. And we said the three things of a high value man is character, that deals with integrity, that deals with doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, with the right motivation, right? The second thing we talked about is commitment, being committed to your family, loving them, and having that commitment based on values and priorities. That's where we get this value of our ceiling is our children's floor.
Yeah.
Right. And so, let me put my man up there, the same dude, man. Now I know who it is. It's my guy right here. So beautiful family too. So we're saying character, commitment, and we're saying consistency. And the consistency is if I'm pouring into you and I'm loving you consistently, then when I have bad moments, you can tell. But the only way you can tell is in the piece of character and character. You know who you are in integrity, both individuals coming together as one. And then the second thing that I think is very important, commitment, is what commitments do you have? What principles do you have? Hey, we won't curse at each other. We won't yell at each other. We won't talk about this. Hey, we value saving. We value spending money. We value date night. We value studying with our kids. We put more emphasis on being one than who makes the most money, right? Because without that, you won't grow. And then last but not least, we said consistency. You have to be consistent in the great things that you honor, right? And I say this to all those who are listening. This is a great phrase. I've said it before. I say it again. Words tried by time proves trustworthiness. So I give you my word, and over time, as a husband or as or you as a wife, prove if you're trustworthy. And if we don't do that, I don't think we will grow at all. Make sense?
Makes complete sense.
Hey, this is the James Taylor Jr. podcast, sponsored by We As Men. We have the great
We As Men.
We got the great Shamar, Coach Shamar Terrell. We got to put him in the game.
Coach, put some respect on it.
Right.
Put some respect on my name.
Right. And we got the kind and caring Reggie Carter, and we got the I don't know what to call myself. But James Taylor Jr. I'll probably be the controversial one of up like that, but I'm the confrontational one when it comes to
you got that Marcus Garvey hat thing going on. I feel when you wore that, I was like, oh yeah, that's the confrontational hat right there. Hey, that's not a bad thing.
It's ready to go in, baby.
It's the ski mask week. It's the ski mask week. I might not catch that phrase. Young people won't catch that phrase, but that's that biggie. But anyway, so again, this is the James Taylor Jr. podcast. We have two amazing guys, Shamar Terrell, Coach Terrell. If you want to get with him for coaching, we're going to put something on the We As Men website concerning that. We have Reggie Carter, who's also one of the directors, and also a board member for the We As Men ministry, nonprofit organizations that help to build men through faith, family, functionality, fitness, and finance. And let's end by saying this. We want you to always love, pray, serve, and share. Hey, have a great night, y'all. We appreciate y'all.